I didn't grow up wanting to do FanX, but seeing all the excitement and the fun, that kind of enveloped me, and so it was something that I started to pursue. I never really knew what I wanted to do coming to UVU. I had no idea what major I wanted to pursue or what career path I wanted to take. I took a entrepreneurship class. The professor, he taught us about taking risks and being confident and, kind of just going for something. And so that helped me to then pursue this field and feel confident enough that, hey, I can do this. I've got the skills required.
I was attending comic conventions as a vendor with a 3D software company that I was owner of, Daz 3D. I knew they had comic book artists and creative people there, and I didn't really even understand much about cosplay or a lot of that stuff before I went to those conventions. And I remember checking back with my wife and saying, this is really fun. I mean, there's people dressed up as Star Wars characters. You'd love to see this. You got stormtroopers and Darth Vader and Princess Leia and all this. I would describe the conventions as something you could cut with a knife almost. It's just like the energy in the air. You could just cut it with a knife and really just something that pulls you into it. I thought, why not bring that here to Utah, and found some good partners here to start with. Our first show, everything just came together perfectly. It was like a perfect storm, the way that everything happened to really create one of the most amazing events we could have imagined for the first year.
I never was a huge die-hard fan. I grew up appreciating, all kinds of movies, but I was never huge into Marvel or DC. I really appreciated the passion behind everything. I loved how people would get really excited. That was infectious for me. So growing up and seeing how excited people would get with meeting a celebrity or a comic creator, that would rub off on me.
I love working with Matt. Matt is he's very motivated. He's got a very peaceful demeanor about him, which is nice. He's somebody that he's not easily rattled. He basically keeps a good even tone. And I think that's one thing about when we're doing a convention. It is so important for people to kind of maintain a tone of, we'll get through this. We'll be able to handle this problem here, this problem here. If we're high strung, that energy transfers all the way through the organization and through the volunteers and everybody. And then if everybody's uptight, the fans can sense it, when people interact with the fans, and if the staff is uptight, the fans start getting nervous and they don't get the treatment they need. So I look at Matt's demeanor, and he's got a great way of kind of keeping that positive energy that we need to have at the events. And he does a great job communicating with our potential partners, because the one thing that really is important with our events is our partnerships, community partnerships, and having him be able to manage those relationships is a really big deal.
FanX has a massive impact on the community here in Utah, and I think one of the reasons is it's a judgment-free zone. Everybody's welcome, all walks of life. It doesn't matter if you're a Disney fan, a Star Wars fan, anime fan, doesn't matter if you like Tron or whatever it is that you like, you could come and dress up in that particular costume and people are going to accept you. And in fact, people probably ask to get your photos and say, oh, I love your outfit. It's just a really great community where they've embraced each other, and to go into this judgment-free zone for that whole weekend. I wish the world was like that the entire time. I wish they could and everybody gets there and just gets along, and they're all appreciative of everybody there. And there's a little sometimes good-natured ribbing. You got Star Wars fans versus Star Trek fans, but it's just a lot of fun, and everybody's there to enjoy the fact that we all enjoy pop culture.
Being a part of the event and seeing all of the excitement that people had, seeing the faces of people meeting their celebrities or their heroes, that gave me the confidence to say, hey, I want to keep creating this and keep creating these moments for these people. I've seen a lot of people come together who, might be loners. We've been able to create this community for all these fans. It's been a place for them to come together and to celebrate their fandoms. Being a nerd, that used to have a stigma to it, but I think that's changed to where it's cool to be a nerd, and all these geeky people have been able to to come together and to just feel proud of who they are. I hope that each of them know that they have, a place here. They have friends in the community, and, we all have something in common, whether it's a fandom or whatever it is, but I hate the idea of someone not feeling like they're loved or feeling valuable.
One of the things we pride ourselves on here at Salt Lake is that we have the greatest fans in the world. We really do. And celebrities, they want to come here, they want to go and meet the fans because they love the fans. And we pride ourselves on giving the fans a really good experience. It doesn't matter if that they're getting an autograph or a photo op with the celebrity, but when they come to the ballroom, we want to give the fans a chance to ask the celebrity a question. This is your chance. Like, this is somebody you've seen on the big screen or television, or you read their books, and you can finally get a chance to ask a question, interact with them, and see what they're like. And we try to give those experiences to the fans, as many as we can. And I think the celebrities really appreciate it because it's a real genuine experience, moments that they're sharing with the fans. It's delightful.
I live vicariously through fans when they meet a celebrity. I like watching that happen. Like if I get an opportunity to see the fan interact with the celebrity, you can tell the fans a little bit nervous. They're just so excited. This is such a big moment for them. I live for those moments anytime possible.
We have a lot of fun at FanX. With the audience, there's a lot of good energy. And I'm riffing with the audience. We're telling a lot of jokes. And the way that started was an accident, though. One of our big high-profile guests at the very first show was named Stan Lee. I mean, everybody loves Stan Lee. And at that time, Stan Lee was signing autographs. I think he had 30 or 40 people in his autograph line. He didn't realize he had about 2,000 people waiting in the ballroom. And so his manager's like, we're not going to do the panel because we're going to take care of the fans here in line. And so word got through that people that the panel was going to be canceled, and people were they kind of get a little upset. And we were about 20 minutes late to getting the panel started, and rumors started circulating that Stan Lee wasn't going to show up. And the crowd was getting a little antsy. You can feel that negative energy. And backstage, they're like, we have to do something to do this. So I just walked on stage, and I'm like, hey, you guys. I said, my name's Chris. I said, I'm your MC. I normally have way more energy, but I had the weirdest dream I've ever had in my life. Last night, I dreamt I was a muffler on a car, and I woke up exhausted. And it was dead silence. I was like, shh. And one lady in the back's like, A for effort. And then at that point, everybody started laughing. That broke the ice. The audience started joking around. And from that moment on, we've been doing jokes and having fun with the audience. It's a real interactive ballroom at FanX. There's dance parties, there's like photos, and it's so much fun to interact with the audience. I love it. I didn't attend UVU, but I wish I had. I've been to multiple campuses across the country and been asked to speak at multiple campuses and visit them. Your guys' campus is gorgeous, and you got such amazing energy here. And I've had lots of friends who've actually graduated from here. And it's still years later, and they still bleed green, and they talk about their school experience, and they talk about all the things that they did, and they're like, they can't wait to come back down here and see games. And I just sit there and think, I just take my old dusty old diploma. I don't even think of my school anymore, and I wish I would have had that pride. And UVU is always on the cutting edge. I mean, it's so cool to walk around your guys' campus and see all the students are having a good time and enjoying it here. I wish I would have had that experience. And so, yeah, I wish I would have attended UVU for sure.
If there is, any students out there that feel they don't know which career path they should go or what career they should pursue, I would just say, don't be afraid to try new things, and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to go out and maybe be a fool for a while. That's something I'm always afraid to do, but no one cares. Just go out there and try your best and see what you like.